changing from a 3-4 defense, from a 4-3 defense to a 3-4 defense, something that we've never seen in Pittsburgh before.
And he had the big eraser out earlier in the year with the offense.
Made a lot of changes in the offense as well. New faces both on offense and defense, and they're playing more of a one-back offense. Short passes, more like you would see in Cincinnati, San Francisco, San Diego, Dick.
You've played on this field in these conditions, the weather less than ideal.
Oh, this field is awful on a day like today. Going to be like a quagmire, a swamp down there. Difficult footing, difficult to play on a day like today.
The Browns will kick it off. Chuck Noll just a win away from the number 8 spot all time with 136 victories. He would tie Hank Stram. And on the near side, Sam Ratigliano. A disappointing year, an emotional coach. He feels his team is ready to play well today. In the snow. Bohannon 2 yards deep. And he takes it to the fumbles. And the Steelers appear to recover at the 19-yard line. And we're going to see a lot of that today. These two teams don't like each other. It should be hard hitting, and with a wet ball and slick conditions, we're liable to see some turnovers. Walter Abercrombie was able to fall on the loose ball for Pittsburgh.
Bohannon driving aggressively up the field. You see him picking his way. Now watch the shot right there. The helmet right to the ball. Knocked that ball free, but an alert Steeler jumped on top of that ball, got in there in time to save it.
Bradshaw sets his line with the 2 wide receivers, left Cunningham anchoring on the right side. It's Franco Harris, nothing. Marshall Harris, number 90, led the defensive charge. Terry Bradshaw, Frank Pollard, Franco Harris, number 3 rusher all time. No one's carried the ball more than Franco. Stallworth and Swan, the brilliant pair of outside receivers. The biggest or heaviest tight end in NFL is Cunningham. The offensive line, all weight men, Penny, Wolfley, the all-pro Webster in the middle, Corson, and the veteran Larry Brown. On 2nd and 9, Pollard dropped for a loss at the 20-yard line by the hard-charging Brown defense. Hanford Dixon came up from the corner, number 29.
Keeping an eye on Franco Harris in the early going. You're going to see a very tentative response from Franco. He goes out to block, does not do a good job of blocking. And right there you see the defense stacking up Pollard, number 44. They're really charged up, Dick. There your defensive line, Harris, Golick, and Robinson, linebackers. Got 4 of them out there. We'll get those for you in just a minute. Let's go back to the action.
3rd down and 11 from the 20. Dumps it out to Harris. 25, dropped short of the first down at the 27.
Franco Harris, a single back in that offensive lineup, and he's the hot back here. Watch him just do a little check right here. Now he'll break to the outside. Bradshaw dumps the ball over the top. Franco's going to try and pick up the first down, but bobbled that football just enough to lose his timing. Judson Flint, number 20 there. 48, Lawrence Johnson, the man that put the stack on him.
And from the action, as you see, the barefooted kicker John Goodson for the Steelers done a good job. This rookie from the University of Texas. Dwight Walker is deep for Cleveland at his 37th. Short.
Oh.
Walker. And he's to the 49 of the Steelers.
Being raised a Texas boy, I don't think he's seen much cold weather with that bare foot, Dick.
A short kick. Ilkin made the tackle for the Steelers. Only 29 yards on the punt. So Cleveland takes over in Pittsburgh territory at the 49. And Merlin, judging from that first offensive series by the Steelers, it would appear that the team that can run at all will have the advantage. The Steelers showed nothing.
The Steelers started in the worst place on this field, the sodded area of the infield, and it's like a quagmire, like a swamp down in that area. Ends of the field and wind conditions today, very critical, Dick.
You saw the offensive lineup for the Browns with Paul McDonald, his first ever NFL start. Looks for his teammate at USC.
Fumble.
White. Is that a fumble or a completed pass? If it's a fumble, the Steelers have it. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by whom? Cleveland.
They've got to get possession of that football. The rule is they've got to get possession. There was another infraction there. Ron Johnson has a hold of the receiver. He's not allowed to hold that receiver unless he's making an honest attempt to get that fumble. Let's watch the play again. McDonald throwing quickly to try and avoid the pressure. Right there, the ball just popped loose. Now watch number 29, Hank Johnson, pulling him down. Now he cannot do that unless he's making an honest attempt to get the football. No one gets possession there. Ball reverts to the Cleveland Browns.
Actually, there was not possession. The ball was kicked out of bounds. Although touch less by the Steelers, they did not have control of it. So 2nd and 10. Nothing there for big Mike Pruitt, the fullback from Purdue, as Gary Dunn, the nose guard of the Steelers, made the first contact. Lauren Taves with the assist. Steeler defense, Goodman, Dunn, and Beasley in the reformed 3-4. The great names in the linebacker core, the All-Pros Ham and Lambert, along with Taves, now a solid starter, and Cole. Woodruff and Blunt. Blunt just 1 interception away from the all-time Steeler record. Donnie Shell leads the NFL with 5 interceptions, and Johnson is also at safety. It is now 3rd and 10. Out of the shotgun, McDonald for the first time. Almost over his head. Good throw, and a first down at the 33 is Dave Logan with a catch.
Excuse me, Dick. One of the things that Sam Rutigliano has wanted Paul McDonald to do is to take better advantage of the skills of Dave Logan. Watch that snap, almost over his head. He does a good job of picking out Logan on this play and getting the ball into his hands. In the last 2 weeks, Sipe has relied almost entirely on Ozzie Newsome. He's caught 10 balls in each of the last 2 weeks. They've got to balance out to Logan, and they've got to do a better job of using Charles White.
Logan, who worked out with McDonald during the strike period, and McDonald gets 16 yards on his first completion today. Good protection. That's Mike Pruitt to the 29-yard line. A gain of around 5 before Woodruff and Ham could make the stop.
One of the advantages the Cleveland Browns have is that they know this field. They know the treacherous areas of this field. I asked Mike Pruitt, I said, will you make changes out there today? He said, one of the things I cannot do is take a long stride. I'll shorten my steps, especially when I'm changing direction. And knowing that he can keep his feet if he does that is a real advantage on a day like today.
McDonald, an honor student at Southern California. White was his teammate for 4 years with the Trojans. And that's White with the ball. Shy of the 25-yard line, so the Browns will have 3rd and between 2 and 3 for the first down. McDonald, interestingly, followed Pat Hayden, same high school, and then 4 years at USC. Brian Sipe, meanwhile, for the first time since Rutigliano, the head man here, starts the game on the sidelines.
Just before the game, the defensive team was for Cleveland was introduced. I think an indication of the strong personal feelings that the coaches management have for Brian Sipe. They didn't want to embarrass him by making that public introduction and listening to the cheers for McDonald.
That's an interesting point. Class of the organization. McDonald looking for the first down, has it, and then Newsome can't hang on. Incomplete. Not a fumble, incomplete is the call. So Newsome had the first down yardage. Man who has caught 10 passes in each of the last 2 games. Newsome from Alabama unable to handle that one.
And you don't have to read lips to know how upset McDonald was. Threw that ball just a little bit long, but it was certainly a catchable pass. Newsome had it until he hit that hard turf, and it just jarred loose.
Matt Barr, who has not had a good year, 4 for 10 field goal kicking, his longest 46 yards. This would be a long, considering the field conditions, 44 yards.
He's in a very sloppy part of this field.
Good height, good distance. The Browns take the lead. Matt Barr solidly from 44 yards, and with 9:19 left in the first quarter, Cleveland leads by 3.
This is Mike Adamle in our NFL 82 studios in New York at Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium. Number 27, Richard Blackmore, has put the Eagles on the board first in their game against the Oilers. He picks off this Archie Manning pass and goes for a score, 20 yards in all. It's the Eagles 7-0. Dick?
Mike? And in the conditions that we must be experiencing throughout the league in the Midwest and East, we should be getting more reports on the key turnovers in these games. 3-0 here in Cleveland. Bohannon, and the rookie is to the 26-yard line. Today's game is brought to you by Lincoln Mercury, offering a complete range of contemporary automobiles for 1983 from Lynx to Lincoln. By De Beers, the name that stands for diamonds. The perfect gift for any occasion, a diamond is forever. And by the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. The Steelers trailing 3-0 begin this series at the Pittsburgh 26. Bradshaw got nothing the first 3 downs and will go to the air. Screen to Pollard. Kicks his way free to the 33-yard line. Coming up to secure the tackle was Clarence Scott from the secondary, the veteran from Kansas State. So Bradshaw, that's the longest gain for the Steelers in the game. Defensively for the Browns, Cousineau, Ambrose in the middle. The outside backers are the brilliant rookie Chip Banks, along with Curtis Weathers. Johnson and Dixon at the corners, Burrell and Scott are the safety men. Bradshaw has completed his first 2 passes, both little short, safe tosses.
That's as many as he completed all last week, Dick.
That's right. Steelers had a -2 yards total against Buffalo's defense last week. Franco Harris moving on toward O.J. Simpson, who is in the number 2 spot all-time in rushing. Jim Brown with 12,312. Then O.J. 11,236. And Harris 10,000, nearly 10,700 yards rushing.
With a full season, he probably would have gotten that next mark on the charts.
Russell Davis, short yardage expert, has replaced Harris. 3rd down, a long 2. Actually, long 2 in terms of the footing. And Davis doesn't get it.
Keith Baldwin, number 99, the man that's in there to make the stop. Retigliano said last week, he said, we don't need to play better defense, we need to play better offense. An inspired defensive performance last week by these Cleveland Browns, and they're keeping the pace here today.
Oh, Pittsburgh with 2 possessions, unable to make a first down. And White Walker, rookie from Nicholls State, a 4th-round pick, number 42, back at the 30 for Cleveland. Keeping his hands warm and dry. Better kick this time by John Goodson. Walker at the 25 and brings it to the 32-yard line. 40-yard punt, 8 yards on the return, and we have a timeout and a flag. It's against Pittsburgh.
Could well be that they just released someone too soon. In that case, I think they will take the position of the ball. They've got good field position, Dick. I got to believe that Goodson's foot is going to get awfully cold out there today.
Illegal substitution, number 45, kicking team, penalty declined, first down, timeout.
So Bradshaw and Knoll will huddle, the brain trust of the Steelers. Meanwhile, it's up to the Pittsburgh defense with Cleveland in front by 3. Well, the Steelers take the defense. The Browns in the break, their defense, studying Marty Schottenheimer's strategies. Cleveland leading 3-0. The ball at the 33-yard line after the punt. McDonald to the air. Short gain out to the 36-yard line to Charles White. White, the former Heisman winner in 1979 at USC, is the leading pass receiver for the Browns with 26 and leads the AFC running backs in catches with 26. You see the report that we had earlier. The Eagles on the pass interception leading 7-0. The Lions draw first blood against Minnesota. Danielson to Thompson, a 70-yard pass at the Silverdome.
Wouldn't mind having a dome here today, would we, Dick?
I'm sure the players would vote for that. Threw it, bouncing off some tacklers, and got 3 yards where there really was none at all. Robin Cole and Donnie Shell finally made the tackle for Pittsburgh, where it'll be 3rd down and 3.
Mike Pruitt, a powerful back, tremendous strength in his thighs. He hits up in there. He's in the back of his offensive line there. 68 Jackson, the man he bumped into, just bounces off. Donnie Shell, number 31, finally jumped on top of him. You can see the air rising, the mist rising from the mouths of the players. It's getting colder here. I think the players would actually prefer snow here to rain today, Dick. It's the wet, the penetrating wet that gets so miserable.
Pruitt looking for the first down and gets it.
There was an indication of the short steps. You saw Pruitt as he made that cut on the corner, taking very short, careful steps, and he comes away hobbling. He may have hurt himself on that play, and that would be a severe blow to these Cleveland Browns.
Their leading rusher with his yards today right at 400 for the season. Cleo Miller, the veteran from Arkansas Pine Bluff, replaces him in the backfield. Miller wears number 30.
He's had some hamstring problems. It looks like that might be what it is.
Down goes McDonald at the 40-yard line as Tom Beasley, number 65 of the Steelers, has his 6th sack of the year. He leads Pittsburgh.
Beasley, their best pass rusher from a down lineman position, gets in. Watch the close grab here. He goes by, but gets enough of McDonald's jersey to pull him to the ground. Steelers getting much more pressure on the year from their linebackers and secondary than from their linemen, but Beasley's the exception. That's his 6th sack.
And Pittsburgh is a team right up among the leaders. Jesse Baker, Bubba Baker from the Lions also has 6, and Gastineau has 6.5. Tough catch, and Ricky Feature could not pull it down at the Pittsburgh 42-yard line.
It's apparent from the early going that McDonald is trying to really mix his offense here. He's gone to literally 4 or 5 different receivers here in the early going. Only one throw to Ozzie Newsome, who, as we'd indicated, had been getting the bulk of the passes from Brian Sipe.
Scott Brunner to John Perkins. 28-yard pass gives the Giants the early lead against the Redskins. 3rd down, 15. McDonald, almost a jersey ripped off his back by 67, Gary Dunn. John Goodman was there as well.
Gary Dunn able to reach him, and McDonald had really pulled out of the grasp here, coming out of the shotgun. Watch Dunn come breaking around to the inside. McDonald, feeling the pressure, will step up. He looks like he's going to get away, but he simply couldn't make it. Looked like there was a pull on the outside from Goodman, too, on the shoulder pad.
And it was Goodman that was trying to undress the Cleveland quarterback and gets the sack. Steve Cox, his first punt. He's averaging 40.5. Slide down. Beautiful kick.
I think we got an offside stick that was thrown immediately.
Willie Sidnor is down at the 27-yard line. A good 45-yard kick by Cox. Kevin Turner made the tackle. Now we'll check the penalty. It's against Cleveland. See what the Steeler attitude is. Figure they might make him kick again. He's not going to kick much better than that.
No, he's not. They'd like to march it back, take the 5, and Noel shaking his head. Yeah, he's not going to do it.
Illegal motion, number 33, kicking team, declined, 1st down, timeout.
Feeling perhaps by Noel that ball in the air on kicks is a chance for the fumble. Let's just get the ball now. We know we have it secure at our own 27-yard line. Cleveland, of course, dominated in the 50s and early 60s in this series, but of late it's been Pittsburgh winning 9 of 10. They've been very successful here in Cleveland, have the Steelers. Bradshaw and Harris particularly have played well in this city. 3-0 Cleveland leads. Oh, in the hands and then back out of Benny Cunningham out at the 29-yard line. Well, Bradshaw and the Steelers was such a terrible game, and of course you have to credit the Buffalo defense and the cold weather up in Buffalo. I was surprised to hear Terry say that the climate bothered him.
Well, he got cold, and he said it was one of those days when he just got cold all through his body, and he said it literally, I could not function physically, could not throw the football. It also affected him mentally. He said he was not reacting mentally. I don't know if you've been cold that way. I have. I kind of know what that feeling is, but it's surprising with his cold weather experience that would happen to him.
2nd and 10. open Cunningham. He's got this one, and the Steelers have their first down at the 41-yard line. If you get confused by the crowd reaction here that there seems to be cheering for Pittsburgh, that's not because the Browns have turned on their team. There are a lot of Steeler fans aboard.
Bradshaw getting that one off in a nick of time. Chip Banks, number 56, the defender. He was unable to react to the throw here. Bradshaw, you can see him setting up, having a little trouble keeping his footing there, and just barely getting away from Cousineau, number 50, on the blitz.
3 minutes and 5 seconds left in the first quarter. That's the initial first down by the Steelers. That could be a lateral. No, they call it an incomplete pass. Very close to a lateral pass, and then it would have been a live ball. Pollard, the intended receiver for Pittsburgh.
Hard to tell. Bradshaw might have sensed the tremendous pressure being applied. That would not have been a gainer anyway. He may have just thrown that one away, Dick.
Bradshaw's career numbers against Cleveland, you can see 30 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. Whenever in doubt, look at those two numbers, and if you're plus or minus, then you've got a pretty good read on the quarterback's success.
Sam Rutigliano still feels that Terry Bradshaw is the dominant player in the NFL today.
But he can't find it.
Oh, Pollard pass.
50-yard line. He was open, but under pressure and with a bad footing, slippery ball, the pass was awry.
Very difficult to mount a solid pass rush with just 3 or 4 defensive linemen on a sloppy field like this, because the linemen have to be constantly changing directions. They're coming with the blitz here. Cousineau coming from the top. Got another linebacker and a safety coming from the bottom. An all-out blitz. Bradshaw read it, but simply missed through the pass.
3rd and 10 at the Steeler 42. Deep.
Oh,
he got it. Jim Smith at the 22-yard line.
Times have we seen Bradshaw with the confidence in his receivers, even when they're covered, to go to him and say, here it is. You go up and take it away from those defenders. He still likes to go deep. He still wants to get to his wide receivers. Most quarterbacks are wanting to go to the short receivers, and there he's throwing to Jim Smith, who does a fantastic job, but that ball was perfectly thrown.
35 yards and a first down at the Cleveland 24. Pittsburgh, thanks to Smith's leaping catch, in Browns territory for the first time. They trail 3-0. Protection open is Pollard. That's a pass play that has worked so well for Chuck Noll through the years, sending that fullback down the middle.
That's a pass that has to be dropped in over the top. Bradshaw put a little too much on that. I've got to believe that that's a tough pass to throw when your hands get cold. He puts this over the top. That's the one you want it to drop, and the ball just did not drop for him. Pollard unable to get up and take a hold of it.
Sidney Thornton has scored several key touchdowns on that play for Pittsburgh. Thornton is not with the club today. He's trying to heal, watching the game back in Pittsburgh, hamstring. That's Hawthorne, incomplete at the 10-yard line.
Greg Hawthorne seeing a lot more action for the Steelers, playing both a wide receiver and a running back position. Fine receiver, fine athlete. Bradshaw just does not get the ball on target here. Certainly wide open. Looks like that ball's sailing on him. He's not finishing his throwing motion. Interesting.
That's right. A good observation. You could see there wasn't a follow-through. He just winged it, and on a dry field with a ball that isn't all heavy and wet, that's a different story. But you've got to really come over the top and follow through with that. Must be like throwing a rock. 3rd and 10. Browns show blitz.
Franco moves up to pick up the blitzer. He's calling an audible in there. He may take too much time. He did. And that's exactly what the Cleveland Browns wanted to do. They wanted to create some confusion for Terry Bradshaw. You saw Franco Harris move up almost to the line. His job to pick up the blitz.
Delay of game, number 12, offense, 3rd down.
And that 5 yards could make a big difference, Merlin Olsen, if the Steelers have to go for the field goal.
Question we might ask as we looked at Chuck Noll there, would he do the same thing that Sam Rutigliano did? Would he pull Bradshaw out of this game?
Stallworth, intercepted. Hanford Dixon.
Those are the toughest kind to take when they go out of the hands of a receiver, and Noll is saying, all right, you got the ball into his hands. Pretty tough for a quarterback. Let's watch Bradshaw here. He does have time to throw the football. Brown's fighting hard to get on him. Puts it up and on target right there. A batted ball, though. Number 47 able to get his hands on it. Versill is the man that batted it up.
So the Pittsburgh drive is stopped. Cleveland retains its 3-0 lead.
Kick off your New Year's Day with the biggest bowl bonanza ever. First, the Fiesta Bowl. Then the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. Followed by the Orange Bowl. All this without ever changing your dial on NBC Sports New Year's Day.
Hanford Dixon, his first interception of the year was Larry Brazil's tip that made the play possible. And Cleveland stops Pittsburgh, takes over the 10-yard line as while play is on at the other end of the field. The ground crew trying to tamp down those huge divots that have been raised. 3-0 Cleveland, 1:42 left first quarter. Cleo Miller. So with Mike Pruitt nursing a thigh bruise, Miller, the 9-year veteran, replacing him, gains about 3.
One of the advantages of a 3-4 defense is the quickness with which your linebackers are able to flow. And very often extremely difficult to run outside against that 3-4 defense. You've got to almost run at it and at least force the concentration of that defense inside before you can get outside successfully.
Buffalo's Joe Cribbs, the only back to gain more than 100 yards rushing against the Pittsburgh defense this year. He had a big game last Sunday, 143 yards. McDonald has a man. Feature, first down. 20 yards to Ricky Feature to the 33-yard line.
One of the interesting similarities between Sipe and McDonald, they throw the same kind of passes, but McDonald will tend to go more to his left, being a left-hander. Sipe favored his right hand. Watch Cole. Cole's going to fall down on this play. You can see the treacherous footing. He was not a factor in the play, but you can see how difficult it is to keep your feet out there today.
Cleveland not only a first down, but they get themselves out from deep in their own end. McDonald 5 for 7 passing. Nothing there for Miller, maybe a yard. Cole, #1 draft pick from Mexico in '77, made this initial hit for Pittsburgh.
One of the big and important parts of that Steeler defense, number 56, Robin Cole. They use him both in a 3-point stance and up as a linebacker. Here he's coming on a blitz, timed it perfectly. No place for Cleo Miller to go. Cole strips him down just beyond the line of scrimmage.
They go with 4 receivers. Take out Charlie White and Dan Fulton. Number 86 is in as an added receiver now for Cleveland. Beautiful defensive play as coming up from the secondary for the Steelers with Ron Johnson, who has moved from cornerback to strong safety. That was a strong effort.
That's really the kind of position he should have been in all along. I think the Steelers knew that, but they needed him at corner. He had his problems there, but a very, very physical safety, and you see the dividends that paid on that particular play.
So on 3rd and 9, the Steelers bring in their nickel defense. Browns counter with double right, double left. Under pressure, Feature, the intended receiver, Woodruff on the coverage, and Cleveland will have to give up the ball.
Steelers doing a lot of blitzing to try and get pressure on young Paul McDonald, and that's traditional against the quarterback who's been given the new starting assignment. You'd like to get on him in a hurry. McDonald reading it well, getting the ball out of there, just did not have that pass exactly on target.
11 seconds left in the quarter. Willie Sidnor back for Pittsburgh at his 25 as Cox his second punt. At the 31. Good blocking. But a flag is down, and Sidner is as well at the 41-yard line.
Thrown in an area where you'd normally see an illegal block or perhaps a clip. Let's see what they're going to call, Dick.
Mark Kafentis made the tackle for Cleveland as time has run out in this first quarter. 36-yard punt, 7-yard return. Illegal use of the hands, Pittsburgh. So they end the first quarter on a negative note, a foul. Steelers have had trouble with the penalty flags all year.
Chuck Noll traditionally coming in here. Let's listen first.
Illegal block, number 61 on the return. First down, end of quarter.
Tyrone McGriff guilty of the foul, and that is the end of the first period here in Cleveland, where the Browns, desperate for a victory, lead 3-0. The consensus is 5 wins will get you in the playoffs. Pittsburgh looking for that 5th win. Cleveland would have to win its last 3. And that's the design of Sam Rutigliano. He's called it a basketball tournament. Sudden death every game from now on. Bradshaw first down from his 31. All the time in the world, and incomplete to Lynn Swann. 43-yard line. Clarence Scott on the coverage. The nose tackle, it's quite a story here in Cleveland, is Bob Golick. There he is, number 79 from Notre Dame. Played as a linebacker with the Irish.
They've inserted him into this lineup, and even though he does not know how to play that position, played very effectively last week against Cincinnati. You see him battling Tyrone McGriff, number 61, and the All-Pro Mike Webster. And Webster showing you this kind of strength and difficulty he can provide for a youngster like Bob Golick.
That neck brace from an auto accident suffered, not from a football injury. He's Cleveland's answer to Quasimodo. With some good yardage near the 40-yard line, will be just shy of a first down. Other scores in the National Football League as we run it down to the final weeks of the regular season. Redskins with a field goal to cut the Giants lead. Second quarter, 7-3 New York. Talk about Ray Perkins' decision of this week a bit later in the telecast. That surprised a lot of coaches and owners in the NFL that at this stage of the year that Perkins would leave his team, in essence.
Very unfair to a football team, especially a team that's in the thick of it, still looking for a shot in the playoffs, Rick.
Third down 2. No flag, and it's incomplete. Pittsburgh will have to give up the ball as John Stallworth, covered by Larry Brazil. He was the man who made the tip on the interception earlier, Brazil.
Brazil right on top of Stallworth, reached in and batted that ball away. Bradshaw goes off shaking his head. He's not having as bad a day as he had in Buffalo, but he's not having a good one either.
On comes the barefooted kicker, John Goodson. He replaced the outstanding Russell Erxleben with the Longhorns and did a fine job himself. He was a 7th-round pick of the Steelers. At the other end, Dwight Walker. Oh, did he boom that one?
Boomer.
Walker knocked down by his own man, Kafentis, at the 15-yard line. 51-yard kick.
Kavensi's there trying to help out. Actually made the tackle. The Steelers ought to give him an award for that one.
Oh, the Browns have the ball at their 15-yard line when we return. 13 minutes and 51 seconds left in the first half. Steelers trailing Cleveland 3-0, 13:51. Remaining in the first half. Cleveland starts from inside the 15-yard line. Snow falling heavier now at Municipal Stadium. Flag goes down. I believe the Steelers were offside.
Robin Cole, number 56, the man who was offsides.
Now let's go to New York and NFL 82.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. This is Mike Adamle at Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium. The Eagles continue to pour down the hapless Houston Oilers. Here, Wilbert Montgomery scores from 3 yards out, and the Eagles now lead 14-0. That game is in the second quarter. Dick?
Thank you, Mike. Those two clubs looking for an elusive second win of the year. It appears the Dick Vermeil's club ready and raring at 14-0. Chuck Noll along the way. 5-yard penalty has been marked off against the Steelers for offside. So it's first down and 5. Cleveland at the 20. Charles White right into the new 82 version of the Steel Curtain. Gary Dunn, nose guard, 67, first man there. Out of a great tradition at the University of Miami, Florida. His grandfather was the president of that university from 1926 through 1952. Dad and older brother also played at Miami. Second and 5. McDonald slipping, and then to make sure he stayed in the mud, Robin Cole, 56 on his back. It'll be third down and 9.
Cole now has 4.5 sacks on the season. Looked like this was going to be a little rollout pass, but Cole, coming from the outside on the blitz, just gave McDonald nowhere to go. And with a treacherous footing in that part of the field, no chance to try and elude him.
We talked about heritage with Gary Dunn. Well, Cole's cousin, a Hall of Famer, Willie Davis, the former great Green Bay defensive end. Going to have plenty of company.
Of course, you've got to wonder if maybe putting Cleo in there is gotta hurt him, because Pruitt is a fine pass receiver, able to take that pass comfortably, and Cleo has not played that much during this season. That's a pass that Mike Pruitt probably would not have dropped in that situation.
Well, Merlin has played many a time in a field like this and in these conditions. I would dare say that this game is going to be won by a defensive play or plays. It's going to be the big turnover, a blocked punt, or an interception, or a fumble.
So you're not going to put a lot of points on the board the way things are looking here today, Dick.
Short. Sidnor at the 42 and down at the 40. Whitwell made the stop at the Cleveland 40. 28-yard punt. 3 yards on the return. Cox says, doggone it, where's the artificial carpet? 12:32 left in the first half. The Browns by 3. The snow and rain continue to fall. Temperature in the low 30s at Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Pittsburgh, good field position at the 41 of the Browns after the punt. Trailing 3-0. 12.5 minutes left, second quarter. Bradshaw's 4 for 12, make it 4 for 13. Quickly, a rundown of the other scores. We'll have all of the details. NFL 82 at halftime. The Redskins cutting the Giants' lead to 7-3. That's Mosley's 19th consecutive field goal, one away from the NFL record. The St. Louis at Chicago, no score first quarter. Philadelphia 14-0 in the second period against Houston. Detroit has tied Minnesota 7-7 that game at the Silverdome in Detroit. So you're up to date. Here it's 3-0. Cleveland with a lead. The Steelers second and 10. Franco Harris to the 37-yard line, a gain of 4. Bob Golick made the tackle.
One of the outstanding young rookies in the NFL, number 56, Chip Banks. He's earning his stripes here. You'll get a chance to see him coming up quickly. Feels the play coming his way. Tyrone McGriff, number 61, blocking. That's Greg Hawthorne, number 27, doing a beautiful job of taking his wheels right out from underneath him. And Franco Harris showing you why he's earned all those yards, picking up some extras there. Only 3rd and 7.
Every time he carries the ball, Harris adds to his own NFL record. No one has rushed it more than Franco. They pick up the blitz, but Cunningham again can't catch the ball. He's had his problems. And the Browns fans cheer their defense.
For whatever reason, Bradshaw is really not into his throwing motion today. Threw that one as he retreated and off his back foot. We've seen him do it many times, Dick, but he is just not putting the ball on target. Chuck Noll shakes his head, takes him aside.
You wonder, too, Merlin, you know, He did have the good game against Kansas City after the shoulder injury. But now the weather's turned cold. Last week in Buffalo, here in Cleveland, just wonder whether or not he is 100% the way he's throwing the ball.
Well, he said his shoulder was not bothering him, but he's the kind of player that's not going to tell you about those pains. He plays and has played with a great deal of pain over the years.
There is no one back for Cleveland. And the kick squashes out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Goodson is trying to fill the shoes of Greg Colquitt. I guess he's not really having to do that, but he's doing a good job. It's 3-0 Cleveland. Light rain continues to fall. Intermittently it becomes snow. There are the standings in the AFC. The Raiders with their come-from-behind late win against the Rams yesterday. The only 6-1 team. The Bengals, the only other team to lose just one. They'll be in San Diego Monday night. Miami with its victory over the Jets. They're tied for that third spot. Cleveland down there at 2-4, obviously needing 3 straight wins to close out the year to entertain any hopes of a playoff spot. Mike Pruitt is back in the lineup for Cleveland, number 43. Going deep, has a man open, Fulton. And he's all the way to the 39-yard line. Flag is down. They're going to call it back.
Pass like that just last week in Cincinnati. Badly underthrown by Sipe. Could have had an impact on that game. That's one of the reasons Paul McDonald was in there. And you saw him deliver that pass perfectly.
Holding number 71, offense, first down.
Matt Miller, number 71, the man guilty of the call. He'll be off to your left side here, and you get an idea. There he is on the left side of your screen, hanging on right there. But what a nice pass. Mel Blount, veteran cornerback 13 years in the NFL, beaten badly on that particular play.
50-yard pass nullified. Charles White hit solidly at the 5-yard line, and the Steeler fans who are located in the lower deck down at that end of the field let out a roar. There they are. You can see where, if you're a visiting fan, where you can expect to sit. That's behind home plate in the baseball configuration, so you're at least, well, the pitcher's mound would be about 100 to 125 feet from the end line to where they're sitting if you're in the first row. It's also the tough part of the field because of the baseball diamond. That's where it shotted.
Good pass. First down.
Dave Logan, a veteran from Colorado, as they work at Mel Blount's side of the field.
Last week, Blount had trouble playing off the ball. They've moved him back up this week to try and let him play more bump and run. But Logan, who's a crafty receiver, runs a very disciplined pattern and has perhaps as good a hands as you can find anywhere in the NFL. Made an excellent play there.
So important for the Browns. They would have had to kick from their end zone, but they make the first down. Leading 3-0, 10-11 left in the first half. Pruitt to the 25, a yard. Second down and 9. Entire defense led by Jack Lambert, 7 times an All-Pro. Dracula in cleats, and you know he loves it no matter what the conditions. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cleveland Browns and the National Football League is prohibited. McDonald is 6 for 11, 6 for 12, another drop. White's unhappy, the fans are unhappy, but it's obvious these are all talented receivers. Everyone is dropping the ball. It's just a much more difficult situation. The ball's wet and heavy, and the field is slick.
Steelers testing McDonald's reaction. They blitzed him on that play. He bounced it out of there in a real hurry, had it right on target. Unfortunately, Charles White unable to hang on, and White has been an excellent receiver for the Browns, doing a good job of both receiving and running, giving them some versatility in that role.
3rd and 9. the first down.
Paul McDonald, not only a fine thrower, but also a good runner. Provides the Browns with more mobility from the quarterback position, and you see him take advantage of that right here. Makes the decision. There's no one open. He's going to run the football. Now, the one thing in question here is staying in bounds. Goes up and takes a real shot. Could have gotten out of bounds safely with the first down. Probably should have done it.
You had to admire his cool for a man who does not have that much experience in the NFL. He searched the field. There were no receivers open, and then tucked it away. First down at the 36. Again, good protection. Got a man. Was he in bounds? No. Dwight Walker was out of bounds when he caught the ball at the 40-yard line.
That's the classic mismatch you look for. Working on Robin Cole, number 56, the linebacker. You love to get speed on a linebacker right here. But watch him. He's got to get 2 feet in. 1 foot in, and the second one right on the line. I think that's experience, Dick. Knowing where you are on the field, being able to sense that. I think had he known where he was, he could have gotten both feet down.
Little stutter step there and fall out of bounds rather than trying to go for the touchdown. Make sure that you have the yardage. Charles White, well, he ran as if that crowd made him angry when they booed him coming off the field after that pass drop. He gets out to about the 38-yard line.
Well, one thing we know about Charles White, the more he plays, the better he plays. And one of his problems, I think, here in Cleveland is that he has played in a very limited role. But now Rutigliano has said Charles White's going to stay in the game. He's going to be there as a receiver, going to be there as a ball carrier. I think it will help White, and we'll have to see. Maybe it'll help the Browns, too.
Well, the Browns have not scored a touchdown in the first half in the first 4 games after the strike, nor have they today. And White has carried the ball rushing only 6 times in the last 3 games. He had to play from behind. 3rd down and 7. Yeah, good protection. And a man open is White. Great throw. Whoa.
Again, the isolation, speed on the linebacker. That's young linebacker Mike Merriweather, number 57, and he covered White about as well as you possibly could. Let's look at White individually on this pass route. Watch Merriweather. He's stride for stride, but the ball is absolutely perfectly thrown. Another inch in back of that, it would have been knocked away.
And those same fans who were booing White on their feet cheering him. 7 minutes remaining in the first half. The Browns trying to add to their 3-0 lead. This time it's Logan that realizes how very difficult it's going to be to catch a ball thrown as hard as that one.
Well, I think that one was thrown too hard. I think Paul McDonald just got a little adrenaline pumping, and he whipped that one in there. Logan's got cold hands. Watch this. The ball did not need to be thrown that hard. There's room in there for an easier pass, and I think he just let his emotions gun that one a little too hard.
Again, that's the startling statistic, and why Sam Rutigliano has made a quarterback change going to McDonald today.
Brown players said maybe we can get the Rams to play the first half. We'll play the second.
Sure. Rams, they get off to the early lead, can't hold on to it. Almost intercepted by Woodruff, and then the ball flopping near the grasp of Features.
Wayne Woodruff, number 49, 2 very big interceptions last week inside the 10-yard line of Buffalo. Had it not been for his sparkling play and some very aggressive defensive play, that score last week for the Pittsburgh Steelers would have been much more lopsided. He did it again there.
McDonald now 7 for 16 passing and 96 yards, but he's thrown the ball much better than that. There's been 4 or 5 right on target that the receivers have not been able to handle.
We've got 4 wide receivers in the game. Let's see what they're going to do with it.
3rd and 10 from the Steeler 25. Going to run it with Pruitt. And that Steeler defense converging. Boy, they chased the ball well. Robin Cole, the first to get there. So on comes Matt Barr. His field goal in the first quarter of 44 yards, the only scoring in the game. McDonald stays to hold.
I asked Barr about this field, and he said at the open end of the field where he's kicking now, when the winds begin to blow, and luckily they're not blowing now, it's extremely treacherous. You don't know what the wind is going to do. He said you just got to line up and kick it as hard as you can. But we're looking at it right now. The flag is just quittering a little bit. Not much wind blowing at the moment.
40-yard attempt. And he missed by that much. So Barr had the distance wide to the left. The Browns drive, and it was from deep in their own end. Comes up empty. 5:54 remaining first half. Four-yard field goal in the first quarter by Matt Barr, and as this game goes on and the rain continues to fall, that might be a very big three-pointer. Barr has just missed from 40. Pittsburgh takes over at its 23. Less than 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Franco bouncing off a hole and now outside. And Harris out of bounds at the 43-yard line. And that is the longest run of the entire season for the Steelers. Their longest was 13 prior to today, and that one was good for about 20.
One of the biggest names to be added to this roster here in Cleveland many years, number 50, Tom Cousineau. Does a good job of filling the hole inside, but Harris does what Mike Pruitt did earlier, just bounces off the stack and gets outside. Shows you that he's still got some fine speed left in those legs as he picks up a big gainer, gets the Steelers out of the hole.
This is number 27, Greg Hawthorne, one of the 3 backs drafted out of Baylor by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and his first carry nets nothing, maybe a yard at best. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen in rainy, snowy Cleveland, Ohio. 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. In a sluggish first half, the defense dominating. Players having great difficulty catching the ball. And only a field goal by Matt Barr 44 yards early is scoring. Bradshaw under pressure. Going for Cunningham. Can't get it again. That's at least the third time that Cunningham has not been able to hang on, although under not only difficult circumstances in getting to the ball, but Browns all around him.
Well, shot put it actually in pretty good position, and looked like Cunningham had the ball momentarily. It looks like he has it trapped against the defender right there, and then the ball has just bounced away on contact. Clinton Burrell, number 49, the man who bumped in there at the last second. But Bradshaw not being able to throw the accurate passes that we have seen him throw on so many other occasions.
Exactly 5 minutes left in the half. Bradshaw, you see, has completed only 4 of 15. One interception, and that was on the Steelers' only drive deep into Cleveland territory. Third down and 9. John Stallworth add his name to the list.
John Stallworth, one of the most dependable of receivers, dropped a touchdown pass last week in that loss against Buffalo. And here, an easy pass after Bradshaw had scrambled for time. Watch him right here. Stallworth does a good job of getting open for Bradshaw, but when the ball is finally thrown to him, he just simply could not hang on to it. You'll see him right at the middle of your screen, 82, right there. Ball right in his hands. Too easy.
I think that was more trying to run before he caught it than it was the wet ball. You can see him looking upfield. Walker back for the punt return. And it takes a Steeler roll inside the 20-yard line to about the 18. 31 yards on the kick. 4:42 remaining in the half. Cleveland Browns lead the Steelers 3-0. Terry Bradshaw had his worst day statistically in his career against Buffalo last week. Only a couple of completions. Chuck Noll, he's gone to the 3-4 defense this year. Most of the moves he's made have been good ones. I want to ask you, Merlin Olsen, why the change right after this play? Cleveland, it looked like an offside against Jack Ham. complete to Newsom, and he's out of bounds at the 26. Quite the 3-4 defense.
Chuck Noll said two reasons, basically. First, because of their personnel. The strength of their defense is in the linebacking position. Better to have 4 of them on the field than just 3 as you do in a 4-3. The other thing he wanted is more speed on the field, and he felt he could do that by making the change to the 3-4. One other reason, and that was the departure of George Perlis, who was the defensive coordinator so many years, who was a strong believer in the 4-3 defense. So those 3 reasons combined really to take the Steelers to a 3-4 defense. One other thing that was interesting, and I didn't think of this. He said, you know, we play so many 3-4 defenses.
Number 59, defense, decline, second down.
We play against so many 3-4 defenses that it will save us a lot of practice time by being able to work against our own defense, now playing a 3-4.
As I told you, Jack Ham, he jumped the gun. Ozzie Newsome with that catch has now made a reception in 48 consecutive games. He adds to his own Cleveland record. First and 5. White has a first down across the 30. Jack Lambert made the stop for Cleveland.
Vintage I formation Charles White.
7-3 in the second quarter. The Giants at Washington. Mosley's kicked 19 in a row now. St. Louis has a 7-0 lead against the Bears in the second quarter. 14-0. The Eagles over Houston second period. And Minnesota's taken the lead 14-7 in the second quarter. That has been an injury-filled game. Both James Hunter of the Lions and Ahmad Rashad of the Vikings carried off the field with serious injuries. Safety blitz. And a fumble, and the Steelers have the ball. Donnie Shell, the man who has 4 straight years been named All-Pro for plays just like that one.
Shell, a real kamikaze, coming in on the blitz. They stripped the ball from Paul McDonald. That's what, 4 sacks on the day? A chance for you to watch it. 4th sack of the day as McDonald gets in and sets up. Shell coming in underneath right there. They get a piece of it. Actually, that was not Shell that made the initial hit, but Donnie right there to scoop up that football.
A free agent pick out of South Carolina State. What a find. The Steelers try to capitalize, trailing 3-0.
Going, no, they didn't go deep.
Cunningham
going deep.
The big 260-pound tight end is finally hauled down at the 12-yard line. Very close to a first down.
Very difficult for veteran players to make the kind of changes that Bradshaw's being asked to make in this year. Changing to the short patterns. He's always loved the deep receivers, the wide receivers deep. And he said, I'll get better at this. And he said, I'm willing to do it. But it's tough on me. And you saw it there. Stallworth deep down the middle. That's the pass he normally would have thrown. But he was looking to the short receiver.
It is a first down. Merlin, I'd like to ask you, as a defensive player playing under these conditions, did you think about the fact that you know there are going to be fumbles and drops? Do you tackle? Do you change your technique any differently than on a dry field?
You go for the ball more because you know it's harder to hang on to it, Dick. Very definitely.
At the 12, Pollard and Harris behind Bradshaw. Intercepted. An ill-advised pass by Bradshaw. Dick Ambrose had a hand on it. There were 4 Browns around Cunningham.
We didn't have a camera on Chuck Noll, but he shook his head on that one on the sideline. Bradshaw, with all kinds of time to throw, finally senses that he's got to get out of Marshall Harris's way. Unloaded the football. Very lucky not to have that one going the other way in Ambrose's hands.
I take it back. It wasn't 4 Browns around him. There were about 5 or 6.
That's right at the apex of the traffic pattern, Dick.
That was almost a gridlock around Cunningham. Unbelievable. And now to Harris. What a move he put on, and steps out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Franco is short of the first down by a couple.
Bradshaw able to take his time, could not find a receiver in the end zone. He wanted the touchdown here. Look at him. He finally scrambles outside, fires it to his outlet man, Franco Harris. Watch Harris put a little wiggle on there and then down the sideline. He'll be about 1.5 yards short of the first down.
Short yardage team comes in for Pittsburgh. And this Browns defense will counter with some bulk in that defensive line.
Hard for me to believe they always take Franco out in a situation like this. He's so good at picking the hole.
Bradshaw calls time. Doesn't like the offensive call facing that defense. With 3 minutes, 8 seconds left in the first half. The Browns lead by 3, and Pittsburgh with a difficult decision as they're inside the 5-yard line. Bradshaw went to the sidelines. The conversation with Chuck Noll was very brief. The call's been made. There's Penny, 74. He is an eligible receiver and caught a 1-yard touchdown pass here in Cleveland last year. 3rd and 2. 4 yards from a touchdown.
Inside,
Russell Davis. Gonna be close.
they'll mark it from the outside. It's going to be one of those measurement jobs, I believe. And if it is short, Chuck Noll will face an interesting decision here. They brought the outside man, Greg Hawthorne, from his wingback position into trap inside. That's a play they've been running for years. They used to put Mullins in there when he played guard and let him run the same play. They'll
The Browns and Steelers back on the field here in Cleveland. Steelers up 7-3. It's been a rough day throughout the National Football League in the early going. Several key injuries. We're going to switch now to NFL 82 in New York with this injury update.
Thank you, Dick. The scene, not a pretty one in Philadelphia. Jerry Sizemore, fine tackle for the Eagles, carried off. The preliminary report, ligament damage in the knee. Back to you, Dick.
Thank you, Len. 44-yard field goal by Matt Barr in the very early minutes of this game gave Cleveland a 3-0 lead. And then in the second quarter, quarterback Paul McDonald, in his first ever NFL start, was sacked, fumbled. Donnie Shell of the Steelers recovered at the Cleveland 22. Terry Bradshaw took the team in on a critical 3rd down and goal from the 6. He had John Stallworth in the corner of the end zone for the only touchdown of the game. And Chuck Noll Steelers added the extra point to make it 7-3. There are the first half statistics. Evenly played, as the numbers would indicate.
not terribly impressive stats, but as we indicated, a function as much of this cold and wet and difficult playing surface as anything else. Both teams turning the ball over twice, and we'll probably see it turned over more here in the third and fourth quarters. Time of possession strongly in favor of the Browns, Dick.
I'm not sure that's an advantage on this field. You may want the other team to have the ball more.
I'll tell you something else that's not an advantage after you've gone into that warm locker room to have to come out on this field. I would imagine that a lot of the players went in and changed clothes. A lot of them wearing thermals that would be soaking wet. Probably a lot of them have changed uniforms, but I see some of the same mud on the outer jerseys, so some of them stayed in the same gear.
Mel Blount set a new Pittsburgh Steeler career record when he intercepted his first pass of the year in the 53rd in his great career, and this is the play. Pump fake by McDonald, but Blount, the cagey veteran, didn't go for it, and on a day when everyone's having trouble handling the ball, not that defensive back, an outstanding interception under any conditions.
Blount has always been a defensive back who feels he owns the ball when it's in the air. That's the reason he has so many interceptions.
Gary Anderson's kick to Dino Hall at the 15, 20, 25, 30, and the Browns will begin play at their 33-yard line. The tackle made by Sam Washington, number 41.
Dick, you can feel the cold. It really is getting colder here in this stadium. The lights are on, and that breeze off the lake is beginning to penetrate the bodies. It's going to be tough to keep from being awfully cold out there in the second half.
McDonald, the quarterback for Brian Sipe. White and Pruitt. Pruitt injured a thigh in the first half but did return. Logan Feature, tight end Ozzie Newsome. I'll give you the offensive line after this play. Leo Miller is the starter to open the second half. Great catch by 85 Dave Logan. Donnie Shell was trying to rip the ball away, but Logan comes up with a fine grab, and that's close to a first down. Offensive line for the Browns has Tom DeLeon at center. Jackson and Lamalure are the guards. Deacon and Rison are the tackles. And for Rison, it's a different role now because he is the tackle on the blind side of a quarterback, McDonald being left-handed, Sipe right-handed.
You saw that hit on the blind side of Bradshaw that ended up in a fumble. Of course, as a left-handed quarterback, you're going to have a different side for McDonald, so Rison takes that responsibility. Doug Deacon had it for a long time. Deacon taken in and out of the lineup today because of a broken hand, broken wrist. We've seen a lot of Matt Miller on the field today.
Light rain continues to fall in Cleveland. First down play. White. Down high of the 45-yard line. You saw McDonald as he took the snap from center and made his spin to hand off. He slipped. And of course, that could be another one of the hazards of the play in this second half. Just getting the ball to your running back. Jack Ham, one of the greats of this game, certainly destined for the Hall of Fame. Taves, he's happy about the 3-4. He's now a starter. Lambert and Cole, the backers. Woodruff, Blunt with that interception. Shell with a fumble recovery. And Ron Johnson, the other safety man. Second down 9. They picked up Shell on the blitz, and the pass incomplete, intended for Charles White.
58, Jack Lambert, great veteran, very, very physical football player, over to give him a thump right out of bounds on that one, sent him all the way into his own players, almost all the way to the bench.
Lambert likes to come here. He's playing only 30 miles from his home in Mantua, Ohio, where they named the high school stadium after him, Lambert Stadium. He was a Cleveland Brown fan all through his youth. 3rd and 9. Going long. Ooh, that was close to Donnie Shell. There wasn't a Brown within 15 yards of that pass.
I think it was thrown to Ozzie Newsome, but he had to unload it before he wanted to. Newsome didn't know where that football was. McDonald coming away. We'll get a little conversation from Paul Hackett, I believe, the quarterback coach of the Browns, the man that greeted him on the sideline. Yep, that's who it was.
Willie Seidner down at the 16-yard line. Steve Cox from Arkansas, the punter. He's the one with the shoes on today. Short. So the Steelers will take over just outside the 30 as Willie Sidner. Syracuse. Fair catches the ball on a 31-yard punt. Let's introduce the Pittsburgh offense. Terry Bradshaw with Pollard and Harris, two big backs behind him. Stallworth, the touchdown maker. Lynn Swann looking for his first catch of the day, and the tight end Benny Cunningham. Ray Finney, Craig Wolfley, Mike Webster, Steve Corson, Larry Brown. Brown, the offensive right tackle, playing on 4 Super Bowl teams as a starter, and Steelers feel that, in fact, he's never made the Pro Bowl nor All-Pro, is not only unfortunate but unfair. They feel he's been deserving of that. Harris, nothing there in the middle of the Browns line. Marshall Harris, defensive end from TCU, number 90, the key tackler.
Both defenses out quickly. The defensive line for the Browns, Harris, Golick still in there at the middle. Robinson on the right-hand side. Banks, Cousineau, Ambrose, Weathers. Weathers earning a spot in this lineup midway through the season. Johnson, Dixon, Burrell, and Scott. Johnson's had 4 interceptions on the year. This has played exceptionally well.
We have 3 of the top pass thieves in the NFL in this game. Johnson, Woodruff with 4, and Shell leading the league with 5. Swann can't make the catch out at the 37-yard line. That would have been good enough for a first down.
That's the kind of pass that we've seen Bradshaw throw so well. Defenders behind his receiver, he'll throw the ball low, and his receiver will go down for it. If his receivers are behind the defenders, that ball is always high, and you'll see Stallworth and Smith and Swann jumping for the football. That ball thrown just a little too low. Swann couldn't dig it out.
You see the 50-year commemorative patch on the shoulders of the Pittsburgh Steelers the last week. In 50 years, -2 yards passing was the worst passing day in the club's history. 3rd and 10. Jim Smith. He's the one man who has seemed to catch the ball consistently today. Every other receiver has had one drop, but not Smith. And for Dixon made the tackle. It's a first down for Pittsburgh. Smith, a little hidden stat as you watch the replay. In fact, he's caught more touchdown passes the last 3 years than either Swann or Stallworth.
working right there on number 29, Hanford Dixon, a man that they felt they could take advantage of today. Have not been able to do it very often. They were able to get a first down there.
Swan right, Stallworth left. Bradshaw audibleizing. Harris. Nothing but Browns. A loss of a yard from Cleveland. Let's go to New York in NFL 82.
Thank you, Dick. Len Berman in New York. Here is the longest run of the year, the longest run in Eagle history, maybe the longest run of the decade. Wilbert Montgomery from the 10-yard line. When do you see 90-yard touchdown runs? Here it is. Montgomery all the way for 6. The Eagles are really doing a number on the Houston Oilers. Let's go back to Dick Enberg. 28-0.
Now the Eagles not having any trouble scoring on this day, Len, but that's not the case here in Cleveland. They have 1 touchdown, Pittsburgh in front 7-3, and they own the ball at their own 36 in a full blitz. And Cunningham caught the ball. No, incomplete. It must have hit the ground and very nearly intercepted by the Browns.
Cunningham shaking his head as he finally pulls himself up off the ground, and Chuck Noll will send a play in from the sideline. Looked for a second like he had that football, Dick. Bradshaw under tremendous pressure as the blitz is on top of him. There, it touched the ground. You see him put it down. He had the football in his hands trying to control it, but he let it touch the ground before he had control of it. No reception.
And Clarence Scott, number 22, he came so very close to picking off that interception. 3rd and 12. Less than 33%, 8 for 25. Who's the man? Jim Smith, first down. Oh, my. Smith, you're going to have to send him to a higher league.
Judson Flint, man in coverage there as the Browns had their nickel defense on the field. But that's the kind of play that Bradshaw has done so well over the years. Going to the wide receivers. Smith will come down. Watch him breaking onto the inside there, just taking that little move. And Bradshaw has to get the ball between 2 defenders. Smith, of course, had the tough job hanging onto the football.
And a first down at the Steeler 49. It's 7-3. Pittsburgh leads. We're in the 3rd quarter. 10 minutes left in the period. That's Cunningham, the tight end. And they finally wrestled him to a stop. Just shy of the first down. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, Cleveland Stadium. It's rained or snowed throughout the day and throughout the course of the game. The Steeler touchdown, a 6-yard pass from Bradshaw to Stallworth late in the 2nd quarter. Barr's 44-yard field goal in the very early minutes of the game. The only Cleveland score. The Browns have not scored a touchdown now in the first half of the last 5 games since the strike was resolved. Pittsburgh ball, 2nd and 1 at the Cleveland 41. And first down yardage for Frank Pollard. He gets 6 down to the 35-yard line before Curtis Weathers can make the tackle.
That last short pass to Cunningham is the kind of play that the Steelers are trying to run more and more of. Of course, that's the coming pattern in the NFL, to get the ball quickly to tight ends, to backs out of the backfield. Of course, once you get it to Cunningham, you got a heck of a time stopping him. I think it took about 5 of the Browns to get him on the ground.
From the 35. Bradshaw looking for Stallworth. Incomplete. It would have been spectacular under any weather conditions. It would have been unbelievable had Stallworth caught it on this day, and a flag is down.
One of the things you have to have on a play like this is protection. Banks coming in from the outside is going to get past the first man there, but Pollard able to strip his legs out from underneath him. And they're working on Hanford Dixon on the right corner for Cleveland. You'll see him here streaking down the sideline, a well-thrown pass, and on an ordinary day, a ball that would have been caught.
Holding number 73, offense, first down.
Craig Wolfley.
Wolfley from Syracuse. Says he patterns himself after Joe DeLamielleure, the opponent, Cleveland Browns fine right guard.
I sat and talked to Joe DeLamielleure, Joe D as they call him here, and looked at his jersey. These offensive linemen have those jerseys snugged down so there's absolutely nothing to grab. Something that McDonald should have done with his today.
Indeed, 3 times the quarterback of the Browns sacked because of a jersey tackle. First down and 20. Bradshaw. Down at the Cleveland 47-yard line, so he lost about a yard after all that running. Clinton Burrell, number 49 from LSU, made the stop.
That's something that Bradshaw has done less and less of over the years. Early on was an exceptional scrambler, an exceptional runner. I think has learned his lesson over time and will only run now when he has to. Quick look at him here. He goes back, getting pressure from Robinson, 92, comes to the outside. You can see how cold he is. Those legs just don't want to go, do they?
There are just 5 rushes on this season for Bradshaw.
That's a second sack for the Browns in this contest.
Bradshaw, as he saw wholesale substitutions and a new defensive alignment, didn't like the call, so he spends one of his 3 timeouts. 7 minutes, 42 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Steelers with the ball and the lead.
You're about to witness a new creation, a whole new class of automobile, the Chrysler E-Class. Chrysler's largest front-wheel drive sedans with elegance, luxury, with room for 5, 6, even 7. The E-Class sedan, so technologically advanced, it monitors itself to keep you secure.
All monitored systems are functioning.
Surprisingly priced. They are protected for 5 years or 50,000 miles. The Chrysler E-Class.
Today's game is brought to you by the new Chrysler Corporation. Quality engineered to be the best. By Visa cards and traveler's checks. You can do it. We'd like to help. And by Polaroid. The fun starts when you share Polaroid instant pictures. And some interesting shots here at Cleveland Stadium today. Looked like the snow had covered the football. Just a towel to protect it from the rain. Cold rain it is on a 34-degree afternoon. And seems colder. Bradshaw and Harris ran together, and Harris makes only a couple yards to the 44. Judson Flint.
Take it down on field level, and you'll watch that collision between Terry Bradshaw and Franco Harris. It's like Bradshaw had trouble getting deep enough. Harris ripping to the inside. Bradshaw able to make the handoff without a fumble, but very often that kind of collision will result in a fumble in the backfield. Dick, one way in which we are lucky today, we're not having a lot of wind. If that wind were blowing, it would be an even more unbelievably miserable day.
Chuck Noll, who played his pro football as a Cleveland Brown. 7 years. Full blitz. Picked up nicely. Ooh, Jim Smith. Was he in an awkward position with Scott bearing down on him, and he was reaching out for the ball, and that defensive man charging him hard. So the Browns defense, and they played very well last week, did Cleveland in defeat as they lost to Cincinnati 23-10. The defense has been tough again today, although they trail in the game score 7-3. Goodson not kicking nearly to his average with that barefoot in the cold rain. He's averaging nearly 42 yards on the season.
His average today just 36.2 yards. Cox, on the other hand, well below his average too, averaging just 34.5.
Did a good job of fielding that wide snap. Dino Hall to the 25 to the 26. Tough little punt return artist from Glassboro State. Hall tackled by Brian Hinkle. Got to watch the puddles with that barefoot. Timeout. 6:42 remaining third quarter. John Goodson, the barefooted punter of the Steelers. What does he wear when he leaves the field of play? No. He likes it that way. It's a little awkward at the dance, but you get used to it.
Let's hope he has all those toes tomorrow.
Cleveland's ball at the 26. McDonald complete to Ozzie Newsome. Out of bounds at the 36-yard line. That's about a 10-yard gain. Blunt and Cole got him out of bounds. Let's run down the scoreboard early games. The Giants still leading at Washington 14-9 in the third quarter. 7-3 the Cardinals lead the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field in the third period. Philadelphia 28-7 lead against Houston in the third quarter. Montgomery a 90-yard run in that one. Minnesota at Detroit with a 24-10 lead in the third period in a Central Division game. Green Bay 10, Baltimore 3. Colts are playing tougher and tougher, that young team of Frank Kush. Just short of the first down, and the crowd chanting for Cleveland. Let's go Browns.
Ozzie Newsome, one of the young prototype tight ends in the NFL, able to give you the speed of a wide receiver, give you the flexibility. Saw Brian Sipe on the sideline. He's just trying to stay dry over there today.
He's probably the coldest of all.
Yeah, it's got to be a cold feeling, Dick, and I sympathize with him. He's not only a gentleman, but he's a great athlete and a real overachiever who's done great things here in Cleveland.
Second and inches in the pit. Wide open is Walker. 40, 35, 34. Dwight Walker.
McDonald getting time to throw that football as his offensive line gave him good protection on that last play. Quick look at it from behind. You see De Leon in the center, 54, pulling his man to the ground. And they found an opening in the middle right there. Not able to get anybody on top of Dwight Walker. Dwight Walker makes them pay the price for that. Warren Taves, 51, looked like the man chasing him.
Went to the same college as Gary Barbaro, the fine defensive back of the Kansas City Chiefs, Nicholls State. Charles White into the stone wall, and a flag is down.
I think we got a penalty on Ozzie Newsome there. Flag came in late. Either that or a face mask, and the look on Newsome's face, I think it was against the Browns. Ozzie up quickly, shaking his head. Let's see what we got here.
And we'll see if Pittsburgh takes the penalty or what was a loss on the play anyway.
I think they're calling the illegal block, Dick, but maybe we can see it ourselves. Ozzie Newsome will be coming in from the outside right at the end of this run. Take a look and see if you can see. There he is. He's got his hands out. You see him right there. Illegal use of hands.
Number 82, offense, first down.
And no question, he was actually pulling at the...
Well, he's trying to get Jack Ham to the ground. You'll get a better look at it in this picture. Now, the man he's got a hold of, it's number 82 that's holding on number 59. Look at it right in the middle of your picture. Just pulled him to the ground.
No, first down and 20. Blitz. And McDonald still gets it off.
Intercepted? Nope.
Closest man to it all was Mel Blunt. McDonald, you talk about throwing under pressure.
Ricky Feature, the man down there to take a look at that football, but he was a long ways away from that one. I think he was just trying to get it as far as he could and hope that they didn't get to it. Mel Blunt, the man in coverage on that particular play. Amazing that he can still cover these receivers and bump and run them at the age of 35.
I remember back when it was in his second year and the Pittsburgh Steelers fans were down on him heavily, booing him. What they didn't know then was that he was such a great one-on-one player that he was being burned out in the open. Later they realized what a great all-pro he was and now the all-time interceptor in Steeler history. But he heard his boos. A little draw play works to Cleo Miller. He gets to the 39, appeared to be on his way for more, but Tom Beasley, and I believe it was Jack Lambert who finished him off.
We haven't seen a lot of draw plays today. That's one of the best plays in Cleveland's playbook. They normally run it with Mike Pruitt, but Pruitt, nursing a thigh bruise, is on the bench. Cleo Miller does the honors here and does a good job of picking up some yardage. The Pittsburgh Steelers expecting pass, vulnerable to that play, still managed to stop it. It's going to be 3rd and 15.
5 minutes left, third quarter. Out of the shotgun. Ricky Feature, and again a pass that in better conditions he would have caught.
Feature working across the middle, coming back in. A well-thrown ball from McDonald, who delivered it right on target. Again, you see him fighting for footing there. Ball just a trifle high. And a shame he couldn't hang on to the ball. Would have given him a chance at a first down down there. A quick look at the secondary. You see the Steelers dropping into zones here. Now Feature coming across in front of one of those men in zone. Lauren Taves, 51, closest defender. If he'd have hung on, we would have had a different situation for sure.
Fred Bohannon is back at the 10-yard line. Let it go. Oh! And a flag is down. Didn't see any contact. Well, you can't drop it into a puddle any better than that.
I think maybe we're going to get a call on the man back to catch that football. Can't signal a fair catch and block. The only thing I can think of they would be blowing it for down there. No.
Must have been him. Bohannon was the only man back. That's not Bohannon. Oh, no, check it. It was Cinder anyway. I thought it was 23. It was 83. Then he comes back out of your picture, apparently, and must have blocked.
That's pinpoint kicking for the puddle.
Illegal block, number 41 on the return. First down, timeout.
It was number 41, Washington, that
Sam Washington. That must have been upfield then.
So we have a timeout with 4:37 left in the quarter. Big giant horseshoe, Cleveland Stadium. That's the distance that the Pittsburgh Steelers would have to travel on this day and on this field. If they can muster a 97-yard scoring drive, they've really done something. There's some problems with the fans down at the open end.
Looked like a bottle thrown onto the field. Jerry Marcus brought it off to the side there.
Look at that jersey of Bradshaw, soaked with water and mud.
He did come out in a tri thermal, so you can see that. Something else thrown onto the field. That's a tough crowd down in that end zone stand.
Ball at the 3-yard line. Pollard. Good effort to get 4 yards. Scott and Johnson made the tackle. Cardinals leading 7-0 in the third period in Chicago. Here at 7-3 Pittsburgh in the third period with 4:17 left. Bradshaw, 10 completions for 29 attempts. 122 yards, a touchdown, and 1 interception.
We won't put that down as book of memories, but it's certainly an improvement over last week.
2nd and 6. Harris. Got a block and gets out to about the 12, short by a yard of a first down. Bob Golick, 79. Tom Cousineau, number 15. Scott, 22, in on the tackle. Tom Cousineau, he signed a multi-million-dollar contract here.
He's certainly one of the people you'll see in pursuit on this play. Right there, number 50 on the left-hand side of your screen gets back for a piece of that tackle. But, Dick, I think that coaches here, fans here, have been a little disappointed that you don't see him in on more plays here. They expected him to come and be the greatest linebacker ever in the NFL, and right now he's not that. He's not even the best linebacker on this team.
Flag down. That would have been a first down onto the 15 by Russell Davis, but it appeared Hawthorne, the man in motion, headed upfield.
Offense.
False start.
Something else we might add on Cousineau. He's reported to be paid more than the entire Browns defense was paid in 1981. And anytime you have that salary imbalance on a team, it will have an unsettling effect. I'm surprised that the Browns have had
False start, number 66.
Such
Offense.
good team performance
Third down.
on their defense in spite of that factor.
66 is Ted Peterson, man who has recovered from a frightening surgery to his hip. They removed a benign tumor last year. A much tougher call now for Bradshaw. 2nd down and 7, or 3rd and 7. Incomplete, and very nearly a safety. Number 99, Keith Baldwin, hit Bradshaw as he delivered.
Bradshaw well aware of that pressure, though. He had that arm moving at the last minute. He wasn't going to take the safety, but he was hoping to take as much time as he could to find an open receiver, and that's good quarterbacking. Watch him sift with the pressure. He feels it coming from the outside. Baldwin, 99, coming in there. 90, Marshall Harris in there, right there. And you saw him kind of hook that ball to the ground. He knew he was in trouble. Oh, that's a cold foot. Oh.
He's going to have to kick it from his own end zone. Dwight Walker at the 40 and a flag down.
Contact made by the linebacker across the line there, and I think that'll go up against the Browns. Bill Cowher in there, number 53, the man that moved into contact. Now we'll see if anyone lifted up. If the offensive man moves and draws the contact, it will go against the Steelers. But it appeared that Cowher was into the neutral zone and forced the move right there.
I don't know. It was against the defense. You're right.
It's a judgment called by the official, Dick. And that one could have gone either way.
That'll give the kicker, Goodson, a little more room if...
Encroachment, number 53, defense, 4th down.
He had his back right against that angry crowd. Now at least he's able to move out near his own goal line. Mike Webster, if you see him lean over that ball, the upside-down whirl to the snapper. Off the side of his foot. Oh, that's going to give the Browns great field position at the 23-yard line, maybe the 27.
He slipped a little bit as he started out on that one. Simply did not get his foot into that ball. And boy, that puts him in the hole. You see him coming side to side with his head down. He'll be taking a little chewing on the sideline.
There's John Goodson after that short punt. He goes to the sidelines, gets something on that foot to keep it warm. No. You just want to keep your hands warm. No wonder they walk on the other side of the street, those kickers.
And listen to a different beat. See the rain falling again here.
2:46 left. The Browns trail 7-3, and they're in great field position at the 27 of Pittsburgh. Charles White hit by Ron Johnson. No, check that. Ozzie Newsome it is. Short gain of about 5.
Johnson's showing the very physical nature of his play. A very, very aggressive free safety. He'll come up quickly as Newsome breaks to the outside. Watch how fast he's up on the tackle here. An excellent tackler.
From Eastern Michigan, he was the #1 draft pick of the Steelers. Played as a starter in the Super Bowl as a rookie, the only rookie ever to start at a cornerback position in the Super Bowl.
Until San Francisco did it.
That's right, last year. Well, he went. Not a touchdown, but it's close. 2-yard line. Newsome.
I guess it's retribution. For so many years, the Steelers have taken the Browns onto their own field. Their receivers would lead them to a soggy place on the field or a slick place, take advantage of them. Watch Newsome doing the same thing here to Donnie Shell as he leads him down the sideline. Watch number 31. As he turns around, you see him right there, going to the ground. Newsome pushed out of bounds, but very, very close to the touchdown.
And you have to admire McDonald. He's pump faking with a slippery ball. He has thrown the football better than the veteran Bradshaw today. First and goal at the 2-yard line. Oh, there may have been a fumble. A vicious hit on 38 Davis, who has his Super Bowl ring, and now a flag down.
We may not have a flag. We definitely have a fight going on down there. A little battle. One of the things that all of these Brown players talked about was the aggressive nature of the short yardage defense the Steelers are playing right now. One of the reasons, number 58, Jack Lambert, hits the man right, hits his runner right in the middle of the backfield. Good job by the runner to get by him, but unable to get in for the score.
Johnny Davis and Cleo Miller behind McDonald. Davis again. Touchdown.
Davis just bulling his way in, getting excellent blocking from the right side of his line. 73, Deacon is one of the men over there at tight end to work it out. Ozzie Newsome, no, that's Ricky Feature, 53. But the man carrying the football, Davis, number 38.
Did the same thing to the 49ers, the Super Bowl champions. Barr adds the extra point. And with 1 minute and 22 seconds left in the third quarter, Cleveland is back in front.
Hey, excited about the Grand Marshal responsibilities coming up with the Rose Bowl parade?
Dick, I'm excited. Now, you're going to have to keep things warm and comfortable in the booth till I can get back from the parade and help you do the broadcast.
You know it's going to be better than this.
I hope it's not this cold out there in Pasadena, California.
Last time I did a Cleveland game in Cleveland, I worked alone without that big body of yours.
I don't think I can keep this booth warm today.
Cox picks it off. Bohannon at the 12.
Ooh.
Fumble. And the Steelers recover at the 32-yard line. A very alert recovery. That ball bounding in the open.
Well, Abercrombie, that's the second time today that Abercrombie has been there to pick up the football after it was dropped by Bohannon.
If Pittsburgh should lose, they drop to 4-3 and onto that elite company of the Raiders, the Bengals, Dolphins, and Jets. And if Cleveland should win, that would move them back with live hopes for the playoffs.
Well, they're still in a one-game playoff. They've got to win them all. They've got to win them all, but winning this one is the most important.
They play at Houston, at Pittsburgh. Cleveland does to wrap up the season. Wide open is Harris. He's to the 39, an 8-yard gain. Dick Ambrose from University of Virginia made the tackle. We're in the final minute of the third quarter.
Talking to Sam Rutigliano, Dick, he mentioned to me that on 3 different occasions they've caught the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off embarrassing losses. On every other occasion, Steelers had come roaring back, but we haven't seen that kind of intensity from the Steelers today. They've got to come back here and get themselves back into this ball game, but I think part of that due to the very emotional play of the Cleveland Browns.
10-7, Cleveland leads it. Harris picking his way, gets out for a first down at the 43, maybe the 44. And that well could be the last play of this quarter. And with a change of ends, Pittsburgh will move down in the bad half of the field.
Well, actually, they'll move out far enough that they might be out of the worst of it, and they'll be driving into the good end of the field. So it's an advantage to them, Dick.
You linemen think of everything. That's the end of the third. That's the end of the third quarter. The score: Cleveland 10, Pittsburgh 7. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. And Steeler enthusiasm dampened a bit by that Brown touchdown. 10-7. We open the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, an NFL record has been tied today. Mark Mosley, the place kicker of the Washington Redskins, has kicked 2 more field goals, now has 20 in a row to tie Garo Yepremian's mark. And interestingly, in that same game, Mosley missed an extra point. And the Giants still lead 14-12 against Washington. First down and under pressure, Bradshaw. Intercepted. Clarence Scott at the 42 of Cleveland.
pressure as the Browns come with the blitz again. Burrell coming up the middle. Bradshaw throwing on the run. Clarence Scott, number 22, just spins around, takes that football away. Let's look at the blitz as it comes from the inside right there. That's Burrell, 49, and 90, Marshall Harris applying the pressure. And again, you see the interesting result, an unhappy result for these Steelers.
Threw it right between his two receivers and into the arms of Scott. 36th of his career. Cleveland at its own 42. The Browns have some momentum as Miller gains 4. We're early in the fourth quarter in Cleveland. 10-7 leader. And with the ball, Jack Lambert made that last tackle. Owner Art Modell of the Cleveland Browns, located very near our broadcast booth, and we had a long chat with him yesterday, and he said, I apologize for Thanksgiving. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, my Browns didn't play very well. I know that was a long second half for you and Merlin and NBC. He said, I think we're going to give you a better game tomorrow, and indeed the Browns have. Almost intercepted at the other end as Jack Ham, who is second all-time for a linebacker in interceptions. He has 32, tied with Stan White. He also with 32. Almost picked that one off.
Certainly something McDonald does not want to do here is to make a mistake. Comes back quickly, throws the ball. Receiver stopped. Ozzie Newsome coming over the middle. He just stopped. I don't think he thought that ball was coming inside. Jack Ham, 59, not getting many chances at interceptions these days as he comes out on most passing downs.
The all-time record for a linebacker is 37 interceptions.
That's Shinnick.
Don Shinnick, Baltimore Colts.
Draw. Interesting play. A little draw out of that shotgun. Something we don't see very often. But Pittsburgh Steelers saw it and shut it down.
Goodman from Oklahoma and Dunn of Miami of Florida there to make the tackle. And the Browns will have to punt it back with 13:45 showing on the clock.
Steelers need to get something going here. Let's see if they don't maybe come after this punt.
Willie Sidnor, the deep man at the 15. 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Good high kick. Good coverage. Mike Whitwell from Texas A&M, a rookie. He was sprinting downfield, and Sidnor could not pull away. A 37-yard kick, a 4-yard return. Timeout, 13:20 remaining in the game. Steelers with the ball trailing by a field goal. Today's game brought to you by Pontiac. Test drive a new Pontiac at your Pontiac dealer, because at Pontiac, we build excitement. By the Bell System Yellow Pages. Get the Yellow Pages talking. Let your fingers do the walking. And by IBM. We're dedicated to the office where it is now and where it will be. IBM. 13 minutes, 20 seconds left, fourth quarter. 10-7. The Steelers trailing the Browns. And Frank Pollard gets the carry to the 25-yard line. First down rush as Jack Lambert at the sidelines talking with his Steeler defenders.
Curtis Weathers, number 55. Weathers, of course, one of the few Browns to play outstanding football in that Thanksgiving Day game. Made some big plays. I think perhaps his performance then as a non-starter earned him a starting assignment. Got several calls for him today.
Big games coming up next on the second half of our NBC doubleheader, so stay tuned. Second and 5, Franco blasting up the middle for 9 yards. First down at the 34-yard line. Boy, how many times have we seen that play through 11 years of Franco's career?
Key to this play, though, is the play of the center, 52, Webster, on Golick. The inexperienced nose man simply took him to one side and locked him off. Franco blowing up through there, makes an excellent play. Finally hit by the linebacker, but not until he picked up the first down.
37 yards for Harris gives him 355 for the year. Leading rusher, as has been so many seasons in Pittsburgh. Little misdirection. And Harris gets only to the 36-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Weathers on the blitz, actually blocked by Corson. That was a little trap play, but because of the penetration of the linebacker, not much room. Harris doing a good job of avoiding the loss. Going to be 2nd long.
Curtis Weathers, a tight end, made into a linebacker for the Browns, and very successful has number 55 Weathers been as he subs for the injured Clay Matthews.
Several converted tight ends in this ball game today, Dick.
2nd and 8. Pollard, only 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 6 as some light snow begins to fall. Golick and Pollard. Golick was a wrestler in high school. In fact, he and Cousineau both were Cleveland area high school wrestlers, and Golick wrestled at Notre Dame. That's one of the reasons why, even though he played linebacker most of his life, Cleveland always saw him as a nose guard and their scouting staff. And Alan Webb, the key man there, said if he ever comes up on waivers, grab him as a nose man, and they've done that, and he's playing as a starter today. 3rd and 6. Nice defensive play by Clarence. No, it's Dixon, Hanford Dixon. Almost an interception, but importantly, he broke up a pass that appeared to have Jim Smith wide open.
Golick certainly getting his lessons on the inside. Number 79 on an up position, actually in a linebacker's position, coming around from the back. A little wrinkle there to try and break someone loose. But that pass play from Bradshaw, had he thrown it at the right angle ahead of the receiver, might have had a chance. But that's a very aggressive, solid play from Hanford Dixon, who's been burned a couple of times today.
So from the mud, John Goodson will kick. Dwight Walker back at the 29-yard line.
Better kick.
That's a beauty. Stayed in bounds, 15, 20, out to the 25-yard line. Good return by Walker. 50-yard punt and a 13-yard return. Unofficially, 10 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. The Browns have the ball, leading Pittsburgh 10-7.
This is Len Berman in New York. It's the Wilbert Montgomery Show in Philadelphia. His 3rd touchdown of the day. The Eagles are on their way to their first win since September, 35-14. Back to Dick and Merlin in Cleveland.
Thank you, Len Berman. And here the Cleveland Browns have the ball at their 25-yard line. And Sam Rutigliano, man who has beaten Pittsburgh only once in 8 tries. You know how sweet this one would be. And it would keep his hopes, however faint, alive for a playoff spot. And McDonald's done the job. And he fires a strike to Dave Logan for almost a first down, just shy of the 35.
Mix up in the pass pattern there as Cleo Miller, number 30, appeared to be running into the same territory as Logan. Looked back at that football as if it were thrown to him. Of course, that's the kind of thing you get when you get new people into the lineup. Finally, Goodson decided it was too cold even for him. I don't blame him. Get something on that foot, young man.
That makes us all feel better.
I think we all feel a little bit better now. You're right, Dick.
2nd and inches. Cleo Miller gets the first down at the 36-yard line. And the clock continues to run. 9.5 minutes left. Cleveland leads 10-7.
A lot of time left in this ball game. Cleveland would like to practice some ball control here, move it down the field, eat up some of that clock, and hopefully put some more points on the board.
And Paul McDonald, as you look at Mike Webster on the Steelers sidelines, McDonald 16 for 35. Those aren't bad numbers. 205 yards passing, 1 interception. McDonald in his debut as a starter has played very well. He's thrown the ball extremely well.
There it is.
Complete. And tackled immediately. Charles White, Jack Lambert, Lauren Taves collaborating. But it's against Cleveland.
Cleveland can't afford that kind of mistakes. They'd like to be able to get the ball out, and even if they have to kick it away, then they can put it deep into Pittsburgh territory. Charles White, number 25, the man that moved just ahead of the snap. He knew it. Of course, he comes back, catches the pass, but all academic at that point.
Illegal motion, number 25, offense, first down.
I think the brain gets cold out there, Dick. You'll see mistakes in the tail end of a game like this that you just don't expect from some very good players.
8:52 left. Not just the physical problems created by bad weather. All the mechanisms slow down. Wide open. And Dwight Walker with a good reception out at the 42-yard line. Picks up about 10 on the play, maybe 11, before Woodruff can make the tackle. And it'll be third down and about 4.
Walker's been impressive today. Made some fine plays.
Check that 2nd and 4 with the penalty. So McDonald has the team back in good position again.
Offense still has the options at 7 and 4. You got to play it straight. Walker's three catches for 64 yards on the day.
Ricky Feature, that's his first reception. I believe it's going to be good enough for a first down. Noel Blunt made the tackle. You know, in this weather, to show you the interest in this rivalry, Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and they're close enough to drive to the other city. The crowd in attendance is 67,139.
An indication of the power in McDonald's arm. Zipped that ball across there. Feature tucking it away before Mel Blunt dumped him rudely out of bounds.
That's what Cleveland wants. They're improving field position, even if they have to give it up, and at the same time chewing up the clock. We're at the midpoint of the fourth quarter. 10-7 Cleveland. Cleo Miller. 5 yards for Miller. It'll be 2nd and 5 from the Pittsburgh 49. Let's go to New York, NFL 82.
Dick Enberg, you won't believe this one. The Houston Oilers. The handoff to Casper. He can't go anywhere. Throws it back to Archie Manning. Archie gets it. There he goes the wrong way down the field. Look out, ref. Archie winds up underhanded. Complete to Mike Renfro. There he goes. All of that gained 8 yards for Houston. And they're still trailing big to Philadelphia. What a play. 35-14 Eagles. Back to you, Dick.
I think Mike Adamle drew that one up. McDonald, incomplete, and no flag as Walker and Jack Ham made contact. Fans wanted interference.
Fans here remembering an earlier collision that resulted in an interference call against their Browns. Wanted the same thing here against the Steelers. Ham going for the football. You see it thrown right there. Pretty hard to see from that angle, but I think he did nip his heels with his legs going across.
Quarterbacks, McDonald has had the better day in almost every category, except for the touchdown that Bradshaw threw to Stallworth. Baxter has really been accurate and has had more zip on the ball. His passes have been much tighter. On third down, it's Walker and a first down at the Pittsburgh 42.
That's the kind of play that Brian Sipe used so well and so effectively in the very strong games that he played for the Browns, and McDonald just picking up where he left off. Excellent play by Walker, too, as you saw him gather himself and sidestep to pick up that first down.
You see the other scores. Bears have tied the Cardinals. 35-14, Philly a big leader in the fourth quarter. Minnesota leads by a touchdown, and Detroit in the fourth quarter. Think about it. Walker, he's caught 4 today, had only 2 all year prior to today. Green Bay leading by a touchdown. And Baltimore is here. The Steelers are offside. Cleo Miller. Oh, some rough hitting. Johnny Shell, you know, when you see that head jerk back to the ball carrier, that Shell's somewhere around the tackling scheme.
Steelers have always played physical defense, and of course when these two teams get together, you add a lot of emotion to that. Little eagerness there as they were flagged for being offsides. Mark off the quick 5, 2nd and 5. Good situation for the Browns. Very unhappy Chuck Noll.
Offside, number 93, defense, first down.
Well, Noll's team, before the strike, they beat Dallas and Cincinnati, 2 outstanding clubs. But after the strike, after beating Houston, they were shut out at Seattle, beat Kansas City, shut out at Buffalo, and they're losing 10-7 today. He's not a very happy head man on the Pittsburgh sideline. McDonald just lost his footing at the 46. There's no chance to dump it. 6 sacks now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, so that at least temporarily, based on what other clubs do, puts them in the lead in the NFL in the sack department.
Let's give Gary Dunn a little bit of credit as he just broke the center of that pocket with a tremendous physical rush.
You saw Minnesota going ahead 24-17, and they came back and got a Dan Meyer field goal and now lead 27-17 with 9.5 minutes left in the game at Detroit. Second down, 13. Ooh. There's a case where Ricky Feature actually did more of a job in defending against the catch of the pass than Blunt, the defensive player.
Now, Blunt, as I said earlier, an unusual defensive back. He figures he owns the ball when it's up in the air. Most defenders go there to knock it away, to keep you from getting it. He thinks it's his ball, and Jack Lambert just leveled McDonald on that play, and that's one of the reasons that Seif has had trouble this year. He's been hit like that so many times that physically he has taken a real beating.
He was complaining about his peripheral vision, that too many times he just couldn't see off the side of your eye, and that's where you have to see those men coming in that field. That's less picking on your receiver. Charles White looking almost like he wanted to throw the ball the way he started, but not getting much there at all to the 43. Fans didn't like the call by Rutigliano. So McDonald's been busy. He's thrown the ball 40 times today, and under slick conditions, completing 19 for 227 yards. And now it's the Steelers' turn with 5:35 remaining in the game.
You take this one, you kick it out of bounds, you put them 90 yards away from the goal on a sloppy and slick and cold day, and you say, here, you take it down, you earn it.
A 3-point lead at this stage, like a 13-point lead on a good field and a good day. Sidner stands at the 10. Steelers coming with 10 men.
Trying to block it. Oh,
no flag, no flag. In the end zone at the 20. There's a case of Jerry Markbright with a player slipping, trying to stop. He did run into Cox, made contact. Could have thrown the flag technically.
61 Tyrone McGriff, the man that bumped into Cox here, but might well have been bumped himself. I give up. I give up.
Snow falling here in Cleveland. And Mark Mosley has kicked another field goal with 9 seconds left. And Washington leads 15-14. Mosley, a new NFL record, 21 in a row, even though he missed an extra point in this game. Cleveland 10, Pittsburgh 7. The Steelers could be their last chance. 5 minutes left. They start from the 20-yard line. As a man, Pollard, incomplete at the 40-yard line.
Pollard had that football in his hands, had it balanced up there, but you're dealing with wet and numb hands. There's just no feeling in those hands, and that ball is like a rock. Look at him right here. He's got it, just simply cannot hang on to it. Backing away, ball thrown a little bit late. You see it again from another angle.
Beautiful throw, though, by Bradshaw.
Yes,
really had a nice tight spiral. National Football League rules require that we present away games starting with the opening kickoff to stations in the team's home areas. So for you fans in Buffalo, Kansas City, and Boston, we'll be leaving this game in just a few minutes for a telecast involving your home team. However, we'll continue to bring you reports on this game to keep you up to date. Franco. Oh, what footwork, and he almost went all the way. The last man got him at the 40-yard line. Clarence Scott and Franco Harris. What a dance.
Browns have put their nickel defense on the field. Eddie Johnson, 51, the man that made the tackle. Franco doing a little fancy footwork there. Just jukes one man right there. Clinton Burrell gets away right there. Who was that? Clarence Scott, 42.
Now Franco Harris, no one running the ball that well, but Harris typically leads all runners, and it's a first down for Pittsburgh with 4:12 left. He threw that one away as Pollard was well covered by Lawrence Johnson. Ken 10-7. Cleveland leads Pittsburgh with 4 minutes, 8 seconds left. Game's coming up, second half of our doubleheader here on NBC. Chuck Noll. His team down 10-7. First down pass incomplete, so it's 2nd and 10 at the 40-yard line. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, we're pleased to join us this pre-holiday Christmas holiday game from Municipal Stadium. Oh, Hawthorne running into Bradshaw, and you knew they had trouble after that. It'll be 3rd and 9. So with 4 minutes left, it's 3rd and 9. Let's go back to New York and NFL 82.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. What a moment for Mark Mosley and the Washington Redskins. 4 seconds left, trailing the Giants by 2. Mosley goes for the record. He gets it. 21 straight field goals in succession. The Redskins beat the Giants and clinch a playoff spot. Back to you, Dick.
Yeah, that Redskin team outstanding all year. And Mosley, what a way to set the record of 42-yarders to win the game. Here, 3rd down. Jim Smith, the one man that's caught the ball consistently, so Bradshaw went to him, and the Steelers got a break. The Brown defender fell down.
Number 29, Hanford Dixon, one-on-one on Jim Smith. And again, that treacherous footing takes another casualty as Dixon lost his feet, left Jim Smith standing all alone.
You wonder why Noll takes Smith out. The way he's caught the ball, the one man that seems to feel comfortable in this weather.
Maybe he goes over and gets his hands warm. He's caught 4 passes for 74 yards on the day. You saw Gary Anderson, number 1, warming up on the sideline. They may call on him momentarily. They'd rather have the 7.
2.5 minutes left. Hawthorne in motion. Pollard. Oh, what a block. 73, Craig Wolfley, the left guard.
Wolfley out in front of that one, just leveled the defender. Bradshaw is having trouble moving out there today. Looks like he cannot get his body to function. He really had to kind of shuffle to get that handoff made. I think the cold is affecting him today again.
2:09, we're ticking down to the 2-minute warning. 2:06, 2:05. I don't think we'll have a play. Well, there's the 2-minute warning. So here in Cleveland, the Steelers have the ball 2nd and 5 at the 40-yard line of the Browns. But it's Cleveland that has the big numbers. They lead 10-7. Another of our fantastic finishes, and we may well have one of those here in Cleveland today. Pittsburgh will go home to finish the season against the Patriots and the Browns. Cleveland on the road at Houston and at Pittsburgh. Importance of this game, not only making the playoffs, but for Pittsburgh, home field. And we all know how well they prospered at Three Rivers after regulation play. 2nd and 5. They were waiting for Harris that time. Cousineau and Harris.
Marshall Harris, number 90, playing aggressive, hard-nosed football all day long. Sweeping in from the outside end position. Good play.
Andy Rosenberg, our director. Kenneth Edmondson, our producer. All the crew. Great job under these conditions. Our cameramen fighting the elements themselves to bring you these great pictures. Big play. 3rd and 3 for Bradshaw. Threw it away to Stallworth. Truth for Pittsburgh. 4th down and 3. And they're out of field goal range. Or presumably you would think they are.
Webster very angry at Craig Wolfley on that play, telling him he's got to make an adjustment. Of course, in the 3-4, the guards have to pick up those stunning and looping linebackers and linemen. Apparently, a little mix-up there on the offensive line.
Here come the Browns. 5 defensive replacements.
All the linebackers out. New linebacker in, and lots of defensive backs. They're expecting a pass. Let's see if they get it.
4th down and 3. Or the Steelers give up the ball with 1:17 left.
again. Fires the ball. Dixon right on top of his man. That's Jim Smith. They've hooked up successfully all day, but not so on this play, as Hanford Dixon steps in front, takes the interception away. Minute 5 left to go. If they can eat the clock now, they're home free.
And you've got to hand it to Sam Rutigliano, the coach of the Browns. Here's a team 2-4, much maligned in their own hometown. The Cleveland Morning newspaper had an article on Rutigliano, already hinting that he could be fired next year. That's how much they're after him. And he yet has had his team emotionally ready to play today. You saw the attitude of this Cleveland team. They came out. You knew they were going to play a strong game. They certainly have. And they've maybe beaten Pittsburgh at their own game, and that's tough defense.
Terry Bradshaw dejected on the sideline. That man right there celebrating an interception and extremely happy to have had a part in what would appear to be a very rousing comeback victory for the Browns, coming back from 3 straight losses.
Dixon's second interception today. This is the ball down offense. And Pittsburgh has only 1 timeout left after using that one. Remember back earlier in this half, they had to spend one on a play call at the line of scrimmage. That could be critical now. 1 minute left. 10-7 Cleveland. We'll be right back. While we were back, they took a short timeout and they ran another. Paul McDonald just sit on the ball. Here it is. Oh no, this is not it. This is Bradshaw to Dixon.
This is a much more critical play. This is the interception again, as Hanford Dixon takes it away from Big Jim Smith. And of course now Cleveland, with the luxury of being able to just sit on the football and run it out a couple of times, they're going to have to kick it away, though, Dick. I don't know that they're going to be able to get all the time off that clock, which means that the Steelers may have a chance to try and block a punt and get themselves back into this game. So the Browns haven't dodged all the bullets yet.
3rd down and long at the 26. The Steelers can't use, and they've used all their timeouts. They spent one earlier. And now they're down, the clock is running, and Pittsburgh can't stop it. They'll hurry to get on their side of the line of scrimmage so that the ball will be marked. 45. They haven't marked it yet. The officials, the Steelers are saying, hey, how come? They haven't marked it yet. It's still 30 seconds on there. Oh, they ought to be furious. I don't blame them for being mad. Clock is still running. And now they don't have to run a play. Pittsburgh actually was on the line of scrimmage with 40 seconds left, and the officials didn't mark the ball, and they are going to be open for criticism. You know Noel is going to write the proper authorities on that one. And now Jerry Markbright, this is obviously something was wrong. And now the Browns
stopped the clock finally.
Yes, yes. What happened was the 30-second clock did not go off. That may be operated by someone here locally that got a heart in the way. But the official on the field, all right. Yeah, they don't miss any. The officials were on top of it. They knew, well, there's the 13 seconds, and, well, it should have been. It was around 43.
Interesting. One of the clocks there, one of the 30-second clocks still shows 4 seconds.
That was the problem. We want to thank John Betchko and Pete Halvin and Steve Dance for their help, support in our booth today.
I don't think I'd want to be Steve Cox right now. He's got to get out there. He's got to take the snap on this punt and get it away. And the only thing that can beat the Cleveland Browns right now is a blocked punt.
Willie Snyder is deep, but he's not the man. It's a matter of the other 10, and almost you wonder if they wouldn't come with 11.
Well, I should say he could also be beaten by a long return, but more than likely, if they get this punt off, it's all over. You've got to believe they're all coming.
If they ever had a play to block a punt, this is the time he'll use it. 13 seconds left. And there's a delay of game. Not a bad penalty to take if that's what it is, because it gave the Cleveland offense a chance to set and see what the Steelers had in mind. Now, the Steelers can change, of course, but and they're not.
Game, number 15, offense.
There's another factor here, and that is trailing by 3. What Cleveland may do is take the safety. That would make it 10-9. Then they get the free kick, and I bet that's what Sam Rutigliano has in mind.
Yep. No risk in that one.
That's right. That's the call. And that's, now he's moved it back where he's already in the end zone, and that's what they're going to do.
Exactly. He'll run off the clock as much as he can before he steps out.
There he goes. 7 seconds left, and now the Steelers' only hope is on the kick, and of course they're not going to kick it high and long. They'll try to squib it downfield where it'll be very difficult to generate any blocking.
Coaches play these things down in their own mind.